Oh, here we go. It's that time of year, it's gift giving time. And I thought I'd start out with a little video that talked about what are the gifts that a basic beekeeper, or maybe somebody that's even just thinking about getting into beekeeping, might want to have in their stocking for Christmas. I'm going to talk about a bunch of gifts today, and a lot of them are pretty low cost. It's a pretty simple way to get somebody into the business. I'm going to start out with the very first, most basic thing, and we're going to kind of work our way up. This is the first of two videos. Next week I'm going to do a video for the beekeeper that thinks they have everything. And it's a complicated, different, interesting ways to look at some gifts that might be possible for those beekeepers. But first off, well, let's talk about beekeepers that don't have anything, or maybe they're just getting started or they want to get started. That's what this is about. What do you think, buddy? You ready? I take that as a yes. Here we go. So I'm going to start at the very beginning. Well, first off, man, these things are crazy hot. Who wears these things? But here's the flip side of it. This video isn't just for the holidays. Doing some research for this video in advance, I discovered for every day in the year, somebody has a birthday. All 365 days each year, there's somebody that's going to have a birthday. And there's probably a beekeeper, so maybe we could use some of these gift ideas for that as well. Anyway, so let's start again at the beginning, because I'm going to start where I got my very first gift as a wannabe beekeeper. But here's the quick backstory, at least is how I remember it. My staff may comment later if it's not, but I was in a staff meeting well before I retired. So I retired from higher education in 2015. I had 8 departments that reported to me, and I was not happy. They were supposed to be working together on a project. It wasn't going well. It wasn't going well at all, was it? No, it wasn't going well. I'm a pretty easygoing guy, but I lost it. And I said, you know what? I've been doing some study on leadership and management. If you guys would all go out and study a little bit about beehives and how they operate and how they symbiotically make more happen than they ever possibly could unto themselves, we might be a lot further along. And I did something I hadn't done ever, and I just got up and left the meeting. I was really hacked. People on eggshells for a little while. Let's fast forward about 6 months, and it's my birthday, and I walk into the staff meeting, and there's a basket on the table. It's like, oh my God, this is really cool. And it's a basket full of beekeeping stuff, but it had in it Beekeeping for Dummies and a bunch of other stuff. And they took it to heart, and that's where I got my first gift as a beekeeper. And I'm here to tell you, if you've got somebody that wants to be a beekeeper, this is the book to get them. And then I would say combine it with Backyard Beekeeping, because these are the two really quintessential books for beekeeping. Yeah, you can get it all online, but you know, there's something about being able to flip through the pages and just take it all in. And I will tell you, this book I read cover to cover for about 2 years before I even got into and opened up a hive. Harlan Blackiston is a great writer. He's just done some fantastic stuff. This is second edition. I'm not quite sure what edition they're on at this point, because I gotta tell you, this was going on 15 years ago when I got this book. But it's a great one. And then Kim Floatham and Backyard Beekeeping has been the standard for a long, long time. Just really well done. It's well worth going through this book, because this book is just beautiful in pictures and really shows you what you need to see. I read these cover to cover before I even started, and I was way ahead of the game. If you're talking about somebody getting into beekeeping, this is the first thing you want to buy them. What's next? What every beekeeper needs: a hive tool. There are lots of different hive tools on the market. This is a hive tool that has probably the most special place in my heart. My son Evan, who is editing these videos, thanks Ev, appreciate it, gave me this as a birthday gift when I knew for sure I was retiring and getting into beekeeping. This was my very first hive tool. It's pretty beat up. Don't use it as much as I used to, and I'll tell you why in a second. But this is the basic hive tool that everybody can buy. They're nice and bright and red. If you drop it, you can see it. A few dollars. And I'm gonna put links to all these down in the notes below. And it's also just gonna lead you to that product line so you can kind of look through and decide what you want. This is kind of the basic hive tool. It's the gold standard that's out there. It's in everybody's arsenal. This is called a J hook, and it is basically the same thing as this, except for the fact that it's got a hook on the end. That hook is for going in and pulling frames out. And if you go to any of my earlier videos in inspecting hives, you're gonna see me using a J hook. I like when they have like a little bit of red on them, a little bit of yellow. Shout out to my buddy Guardian Bee Apparel. Bought a new suit, got a J hook tool, love it. But I will tell you that this is the tool that I have really gravitated toward. No offense, Evan, these are great and I appreciate it, but this seems to do everything I want it to. I'm gonna do another video not too long from now that talks about just some of the basics of handling tools. Because I knew for very new beekeepers, it's like, but I gotta go into a hive first thing in the spring, what do I do? I just kind of want to show you so that you've got a handle on how to use these things. But this has everything I need. I usually, at least always have 2 of these in my pockets, and sometime I'll carry a third in another pocket. I never go into a hive without at least 2 hive tools. So if you're buying this for a gift, buy 2, because they're really not expensive. You'll see. So hive tools, the very first tool every beekeeper should have. Next up, how about a bee brush? These are really inexpensive. This is an indispensable tool for basically brushing bees off of spaces. These I think are natural hair, some that are synthetic hair. It's a little bit rougher. This seems a little bit easier on the bees, but I don't know. I think I'm buying these for 3 for $10. They get a little bit dirty and toss them away. Okay, so bee brush. Really good, fun, expensive. You could combine that with a hive tool and you're starting to get a little bit of a basket. Next up is something that's an essential tool, I think, for all beekeepers, and that is a smoker. You want to get a really good smoker. This is a tall smoker. I use these because when I'm in a bee yard, I'm going through 10 or 12 hives and I'm out there sometimes, depending on what I'm doing, for 2 or 3 hours, and I need this thing to burn constantly. You get these a little bit shorter if you want. Some of the things you want to look for in a smoker, and this wasn't crazy expensive. You want the bellows to be a leather type material. They just need to be flexible. You want a front hinge on the front. So a hinge is critically important, that it's a quality hinge, because opening and closing this all the time, you want a smoker that's got a cool spot handle on it, and you want a smoker that has a stand on the bottom. Because what happens if you're not paying attention, it was somebody I was mentoring who set a hot smoker on top of a plastic hive cover, and before we realized it, it had burned all the way through into the hive. Anyway, so you want something that's got a stand on the bottom so that wherever you set it, the direct heat's not on. But other than that, you just buy a good quality smoker. They'll last you forever. The thing that's gonna wear out is gonna be the bellows. You can replace the bellows. I've got smokers out in bee yards that I've had for 10 years and they do great service. Good smoker, not a lot of money, but a fun gift to get. And hey, if a smoker's on the list and you want to add on to it, this is rolled burlap. And I'm a fan of burning burlap, but you need untreated natural burlap. But you could get a pack of this to go with that. And the basic of burlap is that you take the rubber band off, you light the bottom of it, get it going fast, and you drop it in, and you've got an hour of smoke easy. I've gone to burlap because it's less abusive on my smokers. And what a great addition gift, and I mean, not a lot of money. It's easy peasy. I need one, I grab one out of my kit, and it's in we go. So that's something to add with it. So another thing that is just a gift that keeps on giving, why not consider a subscription to the 2 main magazines that we all subscribe to, and that's American Bee Journal and Bee Culture magazine. These are just great resources for information. Yeah, there's tons and tons of information online. If it's printed in these magazines, it's vetted. and you're going to get some of the best knowledge possible out of these magazines. I've got years worth, and I'm constantly going back and looking at stuff, and these are not really expensive. These are both great magazines, a lot of great information. There's a lot of good beginning beekeeper stuff. There's some really heady stuff. I'm not going to kid you. I mean, there's a lot of things that get pretty far into depth, and that's a good thing because it gives you a much better knowledge. But again, for a new beekeeper, it just kind of gives you an idea of where things are at. So a subscription to either or both of these magazines is a gift that just keeps on giving. Okay, so this is one of those, are you serious, dude? It's like, yeah, I am serious, dude. It's a luggage weigher. And so, yeah, I realized it's like a luggage weigher, that's an odd gift. Well, we're talking like, I think I just saw it was on sale for $9. I think I bought this for $12. What a great little stocking stuffer. This is a bucket that's got crystallized honey in it. I'm gonna have to put that in the warmer. That's another video. But you just simply attach this, you turn it on. I've got it on pounds right now. I can zero it out and you just lift. And it says I've got 10 pounds. It's really about 8 pounds because the bucket weighs 2 in the cap. Some of my other buckets over here, I weigh them out. On 823, this had 24 pounds in it. And on 622, I had 53 pounds. 92, I had 44 pounds. So this just does a great job of telling me how much I've got. And it's a great, simple little gift. Then there's another way that you can use this. The other thing you can do with it is people will attach hooks or something to the back bottom of their hive, and you can use this to weigh your hive. When I say weigh your hive, it's something that a lot of beekeepers do. And why do you weigh a hive? Well, you need to know basically how much stores they've got in them. So you just simply attach this down to the bottom of your hive. It's got this hook on it. Zero out, there we go, and lift. And we lift it up and it shows that we're at 5.9 pounds. So kind of a handy little thing to do, a handy thing to use. Simple, just kind of a nice little gift to have. And here's the bonus part of this. This can save you money when you're getting on an airplane. So you've got a bonus use besides just a beekeeping thing. I'm gonna go backwards and say there are people that are selling this exact same model with an inscription on it. For weighing hives, and it costs about 3 times as much. You're going to see this thing costs nothing, but it's just a kind of a cool little extra thing to have, a great little stocking stuffer. Okay, what's up next? So, and also right at the beginning of the gift giving for beginning beekeepers, some things that I think are very important. Number one is I think that you should, at a minimum, if you're not going to buy a full suit or a jacket or anything, get a veil. And a veil is an essential piece of equipment because no matter what you do, I don't care, it's like people need to go into a hive with their at least face covered, because I'm here to tell you, you don't want to get stung in the face, because a couple reasons. Number one, when you get stung in the face, there's nowhere for the swelling to go, and you look a lot like Rocky Balboa. There you go. The other reason is that bees are genetically programmed to go after eyes. If you get stung in the eye, it's usually tragic, and you just don't want that to happen. So things to look in for a veil. You know, I got this, it was on sale. I've been okay impressed with it. It's done a pretty good job. I would say in the 10 years I've been hands-on beekeeping, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 6th veil. It was less than 20 bucks, but it really does a nice job. I like the circular veils. It just, I feel like gives me a little bit more visibility. After veils, you know, I don't encourage the use of gloves. I've got a video on whether you use gloves or don't use gloves, and that's one of those things that is a lot of preference. New beekeepers tend to want to use gloves. I say get really good gloves. I'm a big proponent of quality material, Guardian Beekeeping. Terry Chapman just puts out a great product. And these gloves, I actually just bought them and I've only used them a couple times. You can kind of see that in the little wear and tear. Just get a good quality pair of gloves. You're gonna spend a little bit of money. I think these were in the $30 to $40 range. I'm not sure what they're at now, But what I found, if you're gonna buy cheap gloves, you're gonna get exactly what you pay for. If you're giving it as a gift, give it a little bit more and you're going to find that they really appreciate them because they're gonna use them for years, and every time they put them on, they think of you. So veil and gloves, that's the next two. Now we're gonna step outside for a minute because I wanna show you something that's maybe for a little bit more advanced beekeeper, but if you're going to have some hives, this is one of those tools that was a game changer for me, and I really rarely go out into the field without it if I'm going out to one of my bee yards. So let's take a walk outside. Well, as promised, we are on our way down to the bee yard at my house, and I want to show you the last item that we've got for this gift guide for the year. And this is a pretty cool one. And what am I talking about? We're talking about a platform. Absolutely. This is a pretty cool piece of equipment. And I got to give credit to Paul Kelly for University of Guelph, who I was watching one of his videos. He's like, oh, I just love this thing. I went, oh, why didn't I think of that before? So let me set this up and we're going to talk about it for a second. So I'll set this thing up and show you just how incredibly handy this is. It's a little 2-foot high bench. But what do I use it for? Well, check this out. When I'm in a bee yard, if I set this up, I've got a good sturdy place to put things like tops, like whole supers. So that's part of the beauty of this is I've got it out in the yards. It can get dirty, doesn't matter, but it's not, I don't have to lift off the ground. So it's a real back saver. I just absolutely love this particular tool. So there you have it. That's the gift guide. I hope that you got some ideas out of this. Again, as I said at the beginning of this is really for new beekeepers and wannabe beekeepers. Again, the books I showed you right at the beginning, I got before I was even thinking really about being a beekeeper much. And again, and they're just handy, great tools to have. So next week, I'm going to be doing a video of gifts for beekeepers who thinks that he or she has everything. And so we're gonna have some fun with that. I've got some pretty interesting tools, and they're not on the cheap side, but they are kind of fun. But we'll show you those. Again, thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. It just really helps us out a lot, and it helps us keep doing these videos, and it's much appreciated. So anyway, you guys take care. I'm gonna enjoy this beautiful day. Oh my God, it's mid-November. Are you serious? I'll take it.